mental. Don't send me one more. I won't let you affect my mental. You don't know what I've been through. This ain't just an instrumental. Don't send me one more email. Fix your face before you get wrinkled. Then smile this fake, and I'm not even tickled. Don't stop. Don't stop. Baby, it's a bop. Don't stop. See you coming for me, and I ain't sent for you. Oh, you didn't mean that, but that ain't no excuse. Doing all this work, still feeling used. Then you need my help. Okay, boom. My mama ain't raised, no dummy. See me tailored suits, while you looking bubbly. Your time is up, give it a rest. This is my response, 'cause I heard what you said. Fix your face before you get wrinkled. Them spots is fake, and I'm not even single. Don't stop. Don't stop. Baby, it's a bop. Don't stop. Fix your face.
Tap, tap, tap in. 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 Tap, tap, tap in.
Welcome to TT from the D podcast show. Today is Tap In Tuesday, and I am super excited for everybody across the globe. Now, you know, tonight is going to be a hot show. I'm super excited. It's not very often that I normally have the opportunity to sit down with actors and models. Normally, I interview a lot of artists and entrepreneurs, but I'm excited not only for this young man. I had the opportunity to actually do a project with him. And he was amazing then. And I didn't really know much about him until I actually saw him on screen. And then I started to follow him. But before I bring him to the screen and we talk about him, I want to put a little PSA out there. First of all, we are in voting season. Yes. And if you notice, I've been campaigning, working with Michigan Nonprofit Association, and they want to make sure that you are informed. We are 7 days away from voting. It is very important that you get out and vote. We're going to talk about that tomorrow night on Wind Down Wednesday. We are in the long but yet short stretch of that. So we want to make sure that we are informed and everybody is ready, because every voice matters. I don't care what people tell you. Every voice matters. Every voice counts. So for all of our listeners, we're talking to our Michiganders. I'm very aware that I have some amazing listeners and viewers all across the country. And when I say all across the country, I'm not exaggerating. I'm super excited about that. But on a lighter note, Michiganders, get out there on November 8th and vote. If you haven't voted online, if you're using your absentee ballot, we have a lot of information. You can go back and check that out. on moving forward, we are getting ready to kick off Ever Academy's album release party this coming Saturday at the Imagine Royal Oak, right? OMG, it's going to be an amazing show. It's his last Detroit performance as a Detroiter. Okay, can't tell you if he'll come back and do something for us, but he's going to Chicago. And so he's going to give you an amazing concert. He's doing this amazing fundraiser. You can come out. You should have by now already RSVP'd for your seats. It was first come, first serve, and it was open. And guess how much the tickets were, ladies and gentlemen? It was free. And so that means you should have RSVP'd by now. If you have not, I don't know what to tell you. I am the stage manager that night, and I'm super excited about that. However, you need to have already RSVP'd. Now, if you come and you can't make the concert, there's a banging after party. If you attended his party and after party for the last event, then you already know what it's like. So you want to come out to Imagine Royal Oak, you can make a purchase, which the proceeds go towards the fundraiser. And then you can enter the VIP party. It's going to be exclusive. There are some signature drinks and some giveaways and things like that. There's also an amazing play going on. Angela Dunlap Barrow is doing an amazing production at the Bellagio also on the same day. If I wasn't working and this was not Everett's event, I definitely would be in the building. I will be sharing that information as well as we move forward, getting closer, because we are days away from both amazing events. And you already know our own girl Beth dropped her Get to Know Me album, right? She's streaming. She's staying on the charts. She's up for nomination for Grammys, y'all. So we want to go out and continue to support her and her ventures with her music, with her projects. Everett's project also, The Life of James, is actually going to be for sale. You can go online, get your order in. It's going to be an amazing weekend. I'm super excited because I'll be all over the place, but I'm super excited. Now, let me get to my guest for this evening. First of all, he's very, very talented and he's very, very gifted. And you might say, well, that's one and the same. It kind of is, and then it kind of isn't. Some people can go to school and you can train and you can learn everything straight from a professor, classes, get certified, certificate. If you are an actor, you might be familiar with the Meisner technique, right? It's an amazing technique to use. Love it. But sometimes we have raw talent. I'm someone that knows because I'm one of them people who went to school for criminal justice and my talents are natural and they're raw. This young man has had the opportunity to study, yet I want to say tap into something that seems to be a natural gift. Not only does he have what it takes to walk that runway, it takes a lot. Like you have to have a look, not only the height, ladies and gentlemen, you have to have a look. Okay, so you could be tall, but you might not have that look, and then you might have a look, but you might not have the height. Well, he has both, and then to be able to be an actor, you have to be able to be like a triple threat. I would say that. Not only should you be able to act by reading a script, co-script, monologues, you should be able to improv. And I've been watching him and following his career since I met him when we did the movie Count Time. And I've been able to see the growth in him. And I just had to get the nerve up to ask him if I could steal some of his time, if he would come and bless my podcast. And he was like, let me check my calendar. Okay. And I'm like, let me jump on it before somebody snatch him up and then he's not available anymore. And so you probably also saw him on 1 or 2, 3 or 4 commercials. You may have seen him in several independent films as well as national films. And this is the gentleman I love when I do this because a lot of people are like, well, oh my God, they anticipate. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Okay, so I'm talking about this gentleman. I love this photo of him. It has so much character, if I could say that. And it makes you want to know him. And when you look at him, you could say, I could put him in this role, that role, this role, that role, and it's like, you look at him and then you would say, like, is he light skinned? Is he mixed? Is he biracial? Is he Italian? Is he Hispanic? Is he Middle Eastern? It's so much. And that's one of the beautiful things about having a different look that you can master and you can kind of be like a chameleon and jump into any role, right? And so this is another great photo of him, right? He looks like the guy next door, like I would go over and say, hey, could you help me out? I'm trying to do some things around the house, or could you help me, or with my car, or just one of those. Or like, you look like you work out. Like, okay, you like, where do you go? What gym do you work out? It's like all these things. You look at him with all these different looks. And there's another photo. I didn't want him to kill me. There's another photo. I stole it. Okay, yeah, I stole it. So it's on my promo today. I love that photo. I don't know where I got it from, but I stole it. Yes, I did. And then I shared it with you guys so you can get like an insight of who he is, what he looks like. And one of the national films that I know you all are familiar with that he was able to be a part of is The Crow. Okay. And I think that was super dope. I can't wait to talk to him about that. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring the man of the hour, Mr. Ali Amine, to the building. Welcome.
Hi, how you doing? Thank you for
I'm
having me.
well. Thank you. Thank you for taking time out of your day to come on and bless my podcast show.
Absolutely, I appreciate it.
Thank you. So I gave a little overview,
Mhm.
just a little bit of who you are, how I met you, but I would like for you to tell our viewers a little bit about who Ali Amine is.
Well, who I am is I grew up in well, as you say, I grew up. I'm from Dearborn, Michigan. Grew up, born and raised there. I lived in the South End for almost 18 years. See, I grew up with what it is. What you know about me today is how I learned to interact with other interracial, interracial, a lot of different religions. Because I grew up with a different type of religion and going to school with different kind of cultures. Going,
Okay.
you know, I grew up going to school with Yemenis, going to school also with Caucasian whites, because it was a mixture. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
high school I went to was more like it had, how you want to say, 50, maybe 50, yeah, 50-50 split between Yemenis and whites. And I was maybe there was only like a few of us that were Lebanese there. Um, so yeah, I grew up there and yeah, graduate from Edsel Ford High School. Uh,
Okay.
yes, I did attend Henry Ford Community College, where I did study in criminal justice. Then I went to U of M, Michigan for a little bit. Did earn my associates, but as you can see, I decided not to kind of pursue criminal justice. I didn't think, I just didn't see myself being in that shoe. So, it's criminal justice. It's a lot of honor and respect to to
Yeah.
all police officers, FBI, everybody who's in law enforcement. All the respect in the world to them. Um, so yeah, so you know, that's how I began. Growing up, I was always a sports guy. That was like me
Okay.
and my family, my whole, basically my whole entire generation were known as athletes, because that's just something a lot of us we had in us, and that's something we used to do a lot when we were kids, because those times were different. You had to play outside a lot, be active. Everything was
That's
about
right.
school, playing sports, playing outside, and
Right.
that's kind of the way I grew up. A lot of being active a lot.
Okay. Okay. So how
Yeah.
did you end up? First of all, let me say this. I wanted to say
Mhm.
congratulations. I know that you are a new uncle.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. I said,
I
okay,
mean, I'm
okay.
already an uncle, but this is kind of, this is kind of this is the first boy coming into the family, and it's the
Absolutely.
first from my brother and his wife. Their first child. They've been married for
Yeah.
for a very long time, and now, finally now it happened. God is great.
Yes, he is all the time. I have a new baby niece from my brother. So when I saw that you had a new nephew, I'm like, okay, it's that season. There's a lot of births, but there's also a lot of deaths, going
Yeah.
on right now.
True.
So it's that, we're not happy about that, but
No.
it is a part of the process of life.
Yeah.
And what is crazy about um the criminal justice background, I can relate because that's what my degree is in. My bachelor's is in criminal justice. And I
Mhm.
really, people don't know a fun fact about me. I wanted to be a homicide detective.
Oh, did
And
you?
so, yeah, yeah. And I just knew I was going to be a homicide detective. You couldn't have told me anything. But then, just like life, you get bit by a bug. And that bug is the acting bug,
Mhm.
production bug.
Mhm.
So how did you actually going to school for something totally different? How
Yes.
did you end up getting into acting and modeling?
Well, at first, I started first as a model, and wow, this is a bit of an intriguing story because it's kind of funny. Well, a lot of people tends to kind of like feels like I'm exaggerating when I kind of tell this story.
Okay.
Well, it's because even though I say growing up how even though I was I went to even though being in the school, being in the also being an athlete a lot, but I'm not gonna lie, growing up was kind of tough. It was because, like I say, I went to school. It was a different, very interracial, and see, when you want to talk about, if you want to, people want to talk about prejudice and race, I kind of, in a way, experienced that growing up, and
Yeah.
it wasn't, it wasn't easy. It kind of wasn't easy. I also could relate to people about bully. We talk about, how they have this month of called the bullies, and I could relate to that too because that's something I was known as someone who used to get bullied growing up, and well, what it was kind of like my first year in college, maybe before, like I was off to my second year. I went to there was this barber I used to go to, and this guy's like my best friend. I grew up with him, and he used to, and he always, and then I started to go to him as as my barber, and he always used to cut my hair all the time. So, so I decided to do some sort of a like a makeover, a total makeover, to complete change, like in
Yeah.
everything. Maybe I felt like what was maybe the reason, maybe why I wasn't maybe getting to where in life where maybe I thought I maybe wasn't having like the friends I wanted or the direction I was headed in.
Right.
So, so this guy, like, I won't say he's the one who talked me into it, but he's the one who I felt gave me the confidence to
Okay.
basically pursue this because it was basically like when he like kind of changed my hairstyle, and then after that, that's kind of when I noticed, you walk around, you start feeling like wow, like everybody's like you grew up, like growing up me, I always wanted to be one of those kind of guys, like, oh wow,
Right.
like I want that life. I want, you
Yeah.
know, that always being checked out, always being looked at. You grow
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
like the fame in your head.
Right.
So so after that, then I started to notice him how the kind of clothes he would wear as well. So and I used to ask him, dude, where do you get your clothes from? It's like because they look very stylish, and it's like, man, I was like, I need to start kind of dressing like that. Maybe I feel like also that's another issue. Maybe wearing clothes is maybe being a problem too. Maybe I'm not matching the right outfits. Maybe I'm not doing something right. So I started doing that, and well, this is what now here go now here it is. When I used to work at the airport. So one day
Okay.
I'm looking at so one day I was looking at these magazines, and I thought, and I started looking at these, and I started looking at, the people, the all these models, the guy models, and I started looking at these pictures, just glancing around, flipping it through, just looking. As soon as I just kept saying it, as soon as I kept looking at these pictures, I said, man, you know what? I need to take my confidence to the next level. So
Hmm.
then this is kind of where I said, this is kind of where I end up kind of wanting to pursue it.
Okay.
But at that time, we didn't have social media. There was no
Right.
social media. There was none of
Right.
that. Then you kind of, in a way, had to know somebody, or at the same time get noticed by somebody. So,
Right.
what if, so so there would be times where I would go to the mall, I would go out places, I would go to malls, I would go to parties, and I remembered how many people used to come up and approach me, and they kept on asking me, and they kept on asking me, do I look like this dude? There was this guy, and it's funny. He goes by, I don't know if you ever heard his name, but he goes by the name of Khalil Ramadan. Well, this man, everybody used to come up and ask me constantly, dude, is Khalil, man, is that guy your brother? Is he your cousin? And I was like, and I'm kind of like, no. And it's like everywhere I'm going around, everybody's asking me this question. And I'm not gonna kid you, it was even a lot of pretty girls that have been asking me this, and I kind of kept on thinking, my God, who is this guy? I'm like, my God, how I want to be a part of his life. So they,
Okay.
and then this is where they kept on saying, like, yeah, they go, he's a model, he's in the industry. And I kept saying to myself, oh man, and I'm thinking, and I don't see, and I never met the man. I already know
Right.
who he is. Or met him.
Right.
So one day I was at the gym and I was talking. I saw it to a friend of mine, and I was talking with him. He tells me who he's with. The minute as soon as he mentioned that name, I said, "Oh my God, he's here!" I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go approach this guy, go talk to him. You would think, yeah, I would think like, you don't want to. You don't want to approach a guy, or just approaching some guy, a random guy you don't even know, or he doesn't know
Right.
you. I think like,
Right.
what is this person? But so I went up to him and I introduced myself to him, and I said, I'm sorry, I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but the reason I'm introducing myself is because I told him, like, dude, everywhere I go, everybody has been constantly asking me if I'm related to you, if we're like brothers and stuff, if we're brothers or cousins. Oh, he started laughing. He was like, oh, because that's hilarious. And then I got in the conversation with him about modeling, and I asked him, and the kind of guy he was, he helped me out in a way. He kind of guided me, helped me, helped me through basic steps. And then after a while, then there was this other buddy of mine that I haven't seen in so long. I remember this dude from high school. I used to play like sports against him. And then just so happens he was in the industry, and wow, like he showed me his portfolio and I looked at it and I was like, wow, I was like, this guy, he ended up pursuing modeling after, this was like probably when I was about 20, yeah, about 22, 23. So,
Okay.
and then this guy, he ended up helping me out, like with photographers to work with, and then all of a sudden he also how about this, connected me with some agencies. That was the first time I remembered I signed with Productions Plus, but when they used to be just
Awesome.
talent shop.
Talent shop. I remember that. Yep.
That's
Yep.
what that's how I remembered. I met Marsha. I remember what's her name, Marsha in person. Rika was working there at that time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, when I did a couple, then I used to do this. I used to do some run, and then I started doing some runway shows at this. Man, I can't even remember the store. I can't remember the name of the store that I used to do it, but I used to model for this clothing line a lot. God,
Okay.
oh yeah, God rest his soul. This man, I think I think it was Mark Knight. I mean, God rest his soul, he passed away from cancer. But he used to have this store, and I remembered I used to do a lot of runway shows for him,
Okay.
that's when then I met also who also used to come down there. It was when he used to be affiliated, Galen Rice. It used to
Galen
be
Rice. I remember Galen Rice.
Robert. I don't know if you know Robert.
Okay. No, I know of Galen Rice from one of my former partners, Alina Kirkley Otis, used to work with them.
Yes. Well, what it was, this guy Robert Ladd, he noticed me there, so I joined with the agency here. So basically, as you can see it, I started as Michigan.
Right.
So this same friend, this same buddy of mine, the other guy, his name was actually Ken. This guy, his name was Kenny Franklin. This guy, I saw him on. I actually saw him on in the movie SWAT. He played. He was in the. He actually had a role in that film.
Okay. I like
Yeah,
SWAT.
yeah. So, actually, what it was, then he, in a way, guided me. He, in a way, also helped me out where, basically, like, if I actually wanted to take the next step in modeling, I'm going to have to get around a little bit, maybe get out of state a little bit. See,
Yeah.
when I first actually, once I started getting in more and got to understand the business a little better, my first shows were like when I went to South Beach. I was there for like 4 days. I was there for, it was like, how you want to say, like a talent show.
Okay.
A lot of models, a lot of artists performing there, and
Okay.
it was the first time, and I went down there and I got to experience it, and I met quite a lot of other agencies from out of state, and so how I ended up taking to the next step was I went to South Beach for fashion season, and
Okay.
I was down there for, how you want to say, maybe about 5 to 6 months. I was down there because
Wow.
at that time, South Beach that was the place to be if you wanted to be there for fashion season, because the mother agencies, there used to be a lot of men's division. There used to
Okay.
be, it used to be a combination of men and women. And I ended up signing with Wilhelmina.
Wow. Now
I used-
that's a hard agency to get with, Wilhelmina.
Yeah. That's when they used to be. That's when they used to have a mother agency back then.
Okay. Okay.
That's when.
Wow.
Oh, that's when they used to have the men's division. They used to have a combination of women and men's. So I signed with them, and that's kind of then when I started. Then I, like I said, I did my travelings. I went down to LA. I went to New York. Went to Europe. I got around in the industry for. Modeling was kind of the main focus at that time, just because I was, I was a lot younger back then.
Right.
And with acting, I did, I did a little background work maybe then, but I wasn't real serious into acting. Maybe because you probably know this too, but as every model, when they start in the industry and then they think it, and when they're in this situation where they got to feel like, oh, they got to act now, a lot of models they're gonna think, oh, like, God, I don't know how to act in front of a camera. We all have that because we all think like, oh God, nerve-wracking. Because then I used to think when I was in school, I hated talking in front of a classroom when I used to do speeches and stuff. I used to hate talking in a classroom. I admit that. I used to be get in there, shiver, sweat so much. I'm like, oh God, I hate this.
And look at you now though, right? All over the camera.
Well, after all that time, I would say, after a few years of being in the industry, I do admit it. I did step away for a while. I stepped away. I was out of the industry for a little while. One of the biggest mistakes, one of the moments I ever regret was walking away when I shouldn't have. But, you try to live that normal life, and then you're thinking is. And then at the same time, when you surround yourself around people who were always had that negative attitude, were not building your confidence and basically trying to talk you out of it, feeling like, oh, modeling this and that. That's business. It's dirty. It's this. It's not the right direction to head in.
Yeah.
And I let that weaken me a little while. And you're talking. It was almost 4 years, because I actually had a recent post about that, talking about. I asked, was there a moment in time in life where there's years you just never want to remember because you felt like you knew something in the back of your mind, you knew that there was something you loved doing, but you couldn't push yourself to do it. So I felt for them years. That's the way I felt for a lot of years. I felt like, wow, from maybe 2006 to 2010, that being away from the industry and making a lot of wrong decisions and trying to live a normal life. And, a lot of those years I hated myself, and for a while I had to dig deep and wonder, what am I doing? Every day I ask myself, what am I doing? I'm doing something wrong, and I know it. Every day I was feeling it, because I knew the industry, it was always in the back of my head. I knew it was, but I just couldn't break the ice. That's what it was. So that was the start of model. I mean, like I said, that was the start first of modeling. So when I finally decided to wake up and realize, like, wow, what am I? Here's an interesting of what made me get back in the industry.
Okay.
One day I was watching. I don't usually watch a show, but one day I was at work and I was watching. I used to work at the hospital at that time, and one day I was seeing this. I was just getting a glimpse, looking at Miss America, because when you're walking around TV, you're seeing everywhere. But I had noticed my friend at that time. I didn't know she was competing until I saw it. And I looked at it. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, is that Rima? I was like, yes, Rima Faki, she's competing. I'm like, oh man. People are asking me, like, you know her? I was like, yeah. I'm like, I know this girl. She actually went to school with my sister.
Okay.
So she was competing in Miss America, and as you see, she ended up winning it.
Mm-hmm.
That's the funny thing is, when I saw her won that, I kept asking myself, my God, what in the world am I doing? I just saw a friend of mine win on Miss America, and she just won. Even though I'm not trying to compare acting to Miss America. Miss America,
no, I understand.
Tough. That's very hard. I mean,
yes,
get it. That's incredible.
Yes.
Well, why I looked at it is, this girl, she is from my hometown. I kept thinking, what am I doing? It's like, if she did the most impossible thing, it's like, why can't I do it? What am I doing?
That's right.
And then there was, and also in why I also got back into it, because there was this other guy, and he used to do acting as well. I don't know if you ever seen Forbidden Fruits.
Yes, yes.
The guy who you see, the main actor, Tamer.
Yeah.
I used to see. He was in the industry, and I used to. And there was times I like hung out with him. I hung out with this guy quite a few times. I mean, even I used to see him everywhere I used to go. If I got to parties and stuff, he was always around. I used to see the game. I would always notice, but I would always notice the attention he would get a lot, and then, you know, see everything's like I'm putting two and two together, and I'm thinking to myself, my God, see, what the heck? If they could do it, why can't I do it?
That's
I
right.
was in the industry before, and I walked away from it knowing that I know I got a lot. I know I have a lot. I got a lot to give.
Yeah.
I could do something with my life, and I could make this happen. So
That's right.
so by 2011, that's when I just decided to basically say, hey, enough is enough. Like, I'm getting back in this industry. Like,
Yeah.
I basically had to tell, whether it was family, whether it was close friends, basically I let them know, hey, I'm gonna get back in this industry, whether you guys like it or not. If you're
That's
gonna
right.
listen, you're gonna support me. Listen, I don't care if you don't support it. I don't care if I don't speak to some of you anymore. Hey,
Yeah.
no hard feelings, but this is a
Yeah.
decision I'm going with from now on. And from now on, and there's nobody gonna make my decisions no more. Nobody is gonna hold me back no more. And anything I want to do in life, I'm gonna make my own choices from now on. So,
Wow.
I went through that stage where being alone, where basically I went through that stage of being alone, but the good thing is being alone, where it, I had to rethink
Right.
over everything over and over again. All those years I wasted wondering, what did I do wrong? What are the things I could have done? I started, it's kind of like, how you want to say, basically using like a psychology, a
Hmm.
psychological mode.
Yeah.
You start to think like, why are you had to overlook you had to overthink, and think and think and think, wondering, why were you in this position in the first place? And then it all comes to mind, like, yeah, I just felt like I was being controlled, and not listening to my own self, not listening to my gut. And one thing I know is, when I listen to, and I always notice something, when I listen to my gut, when my gut's telling me something, oh, I go with it. And a lot of times it tells me the right thing, like, follow your dream, follow your path. So then that's when, then on, yes, I did get back in the industry, but I wanted to pursue it. I ended up wanting to pursue acting more than I wanted to
Yeah.
pursue modeling. So that's when then I took some that's when then I got it taking acting classes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I started at the I took some at the Michigan studio, but most of the time I spent was at the Actors Loft.
Ah, what is that? So I want you first, before I ask you about the Actors Loft. So let's
Mhm.
table that. Hold that for a minute.
Sure.
I have to say, first of all, thank you for your transparency.
Hmm.
Thank you for being willing to come and say what a lot of us
Hmm.
think, feel, but don't share.
Yeah.
We all, Ali, we all have gone through what you've gone through. There are
Yeah.
people that going through it right now that's
Hmm.
going to see this interview, probably hear this interview and say, damn, that sounds like me. There's going to always be that spirit thing telling you, like, you can do this, go for
Yeah.
it. But there's always going to be that family member or those family members, that friend, those
Mm-hmm.
friends or frenemies, because a
Yeah.
lot of people hide in our lives as a
Yeah.
friend and they really aren't a friend,
No,
that's
they're not.
going to break down and tear down everything that you build
Hmm.
up,
Yep.
because what you're trying to do, they may want to do, or maybe not the same thing,
No.
afraid of the unknown. So instead of them just being afraid alone, let me make you afraid alone. And so
Hmm.
you can join my team. So when you
Yeah.
said I had to step back, reevaluate, and take some alone time,
Yeah.
See, a lot of people sometimes tend to have to be around people to feel important.
That's
I
the
was
mistake.
listening to you and you're
Yeah.
saying, I looked at how I was growing up and I said, I want a different look. I want a different way of dressing. Ali, when I tell you that was me, right? That was me. I'm thinking like, I'm looking at my friends. I love the way they're dressing. I'm like, I just can't put that thing together.
Yeah.
That's why you have stylists. That's where you have barbers and,
Mm-hmm.
hairdressers and makeup artists and people who are gifted to
Mm-hmm.
do just that. They can say, okay, what do you see? Give me the idea of what you
Yeah.
want to resemble and
Mm-hmm.
run with it. And
Yeah.
so putting the ball down doesn't mean that you quit because you were brave enough, smart enough to know, you know what? I tried it your way. I stepped away from what I loved, this passion that was burning in me, and I tried to live this normal life. I did the same thing. When I had
Yeah.
my first son,
Mm-hmm.
it was told to me that if I want to be a good parent, then I need to stop being a dancer because I was a hip hop dancer, choreographer. Don't try to act and all that. Just put that to the side because I'm a mother. And I thought, like, I
Yeah.
want to be a good mom. I don't want to not be there. And then it took my mother. My mother told me that she gave up her dreams and goals. My father told my mother that too.
Mm-hmm.
And my mother put away all her stuff she was doing to raise me. And then life happened. She said, I want you to do the same thing that I did. If that's going to be your story, I want you to go back, try it. If you realize, nah, that's not for me, at least you could say, I tried.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God that was the best decision I could have ever made. I came back after being gone for a couple years
Yeah.
because it's in us. And so you answered your call,
Mm-hmm.
right? You
Yeah.
found your why,
Yeah.
you discovered your purpose,
Yeah.
and you're living your dream. You're right. It's your dream. This is your life. Like
Yeah.
everybody else is listening. Jervis, a good friend of mine who's my mentor on here, he
Mm-hmm.
said, it sounds like walking away brought wisdom for you, Austin testimony.
Mm-hmm.
So see, there's people that can resonate with what you're saying, see your truth
Yeah.
and relate to it.
Yeah. That's yeah. It's just like I say, it was well, like I say, if I felt that some of these things were not easy decision, but I knew deep down what I wanted, and
Right.
this is the life I wanted. I want that fame life. That's just this is who I am.
And
Maybe
you
I
deserve what you want.
remember. I even remember I used to have my high school, one of my high school teachers. She actually used to say to me, Ali, you should be a model." But at that time, I'm thinking model. I'm like, what the heck is that? I didn't know at that time I didn't know anything about that stuff. I'm thinking like,
Right.
what is that? But wow,
Right. Right.
it's
Right.
so funny that this teacher knew something, that she knew something in me that I had. How in the world how is it that it took me after getting out of high school and after these years, how in the world that's like, how in the world she saw and I didn't. She saw
A lot
something.
of times people see things in us that we don't get to see. We
Mhm.
walk through life and we're living in the moment most of the time and we're present in what's happening.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always present in our own moment because we're living for the moment and a lot of times
Yeah.
for other people. But in
Hmm.
passing, people will see something in you and say, you know what, you should do this, or I could see you doing that.
Yeah.
And we take it and say, oh, thank you, or you be prideful or whatever that looks like for you. And then you walk off and you say, that sounds interesting. And how can I do that? And every time I see someone I know blowing up,
Hmm.
chasing their dreams,
Yeah.
risking it all according to the world, right?
Yep.
And then I see them on, like, I have friends that are on BET, right? I have a friend that's on Tyler Perry's The Oval. I have a
Oh yeah, I
friend,
know a lot of them too.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So it's kind of like you see this and you're
it
like,
motivates you.
wow,
Yeah,
right? If you could do
motivate.
it, it's kind of like, huh.
I told you the same buddy I used to roommate, the same buddy I roommated when I used to roommate with him in Miami. He was on. I mean, not only like I say, he was on. So he was on soap. He was on the soap opera shows, and I used to,
Wow.
oh my god, like these guys.
Yeah.
Because also that was another part. It was breaking me. That was tearing me down. It was like seeing these guys on there, and you think to yourself, my god, like I was in it with these guys, and look at them. They stuck around, and look what they did, and I quit.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
guess what? You got
yeah,
back in the race. So
yeah,
don't beat yourself up, Ali. You got your gym shoes on, lace them boys up. You was
yeah.
like, you know what? I took a little break, a little breather, but
Hmm.
you're back in the game. And that's, I mean, me too. You could have
Hmm.
told me a couple years ago that I would be a podcaster
Hmm.
on top of the other things I do.
Yeah.
But when you have a gift, a natural gift, like
Hmm.
some of us possess things that you don't have to go to school to get. And
True.
when you know it's your gift and
Yeah,
you waste it, you will look at life as you live a life that you didn't want or you don't choose
yeah.
and think, what if? I wish I woulda, coulda. And you don't want to live like that.
Hmm. I mean, for me to go to, for me, as I said, for me taking classes at the Actors Lab, taking school there, what kind of actually got me, what did make me do that? Because I won't lie, I did get rejected for a film. Originally, I was casted for the lead role for this film, and
Okay.
it was going to be, and this was like a mix, like American Middle Eastern movie. And this director, he was from Lebanon. He was coming here, and he was coming here to film, do a film here.
Okay.
So I had a friend that she kind of referred me to him, and he wanted me for this lead role.
Okay.
So, so we did when we were all there, us the actors were doing the table read. Uh, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of bombed the table read. I kind of like, I guess apparently right then on he saw it. He didn't see me as the guy, like being this guy on the show as his lead character, but he didn't think I knew enough about it. Which I'm not gonna lie, it was nothing personal. He was kind of right about that. You know what? Because I realized the minute I took acting classes, the minute I said, once I those first 2 weeks I stepped in that classroom and I started learning. Wow, I knew, my brain probably had this much knowledge of acting. I was like,
Wow.
oh yeah, I think I got a long ways to learn, and I
Right.
did. And
Right.
what kind of and I tell you that was another big decision that happened that made me go forward, made me push acting a little harder, where
Yeah.
to pursue taking acting classes. So then after that, that's when then I started I started to land a few small roles here and there. You start projects with like 48-hour project films,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
then
Yes.
yep. And that's when then that's 2000 same years, like I joined, I ended up joining the I group, and
Okay. Okay.
and then that's kind of like when I started doing a little more commercial work. And after even taking those classes, one of my biggest breaks came, and this was actually this was in 2012 actually. And
Okay.
I know we had the film industry going at that time. It was big at
Mm-hmm.
that time. But I remember the first I finally landed one of my biggest film. It was for you know, it was from my LA production company.
Okay.
This film was called Only Lovers Left Alive. It was a SAG film. It was
Okay.
directed by Jim Jarmusch, and one of the actors and the main actress, and the main actor was, I'm sure you know who she is, Tilda Swinton,
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Loki, Tom Hiddleston.
Okay. Okay.
They were the two main actors. Yeah, that was literally my first. That was probably like my first major role where I had a speaking role.
Okay.
And I
Okay.
was the cab driver. Man,
Okay.
I tell you, that was. I tell you that first day going on set. I remember they had this. I remember I can still remember it where we had us, or me and Tilda. It's like it's our scene together, and and we're
Mhm.
reading our script. And unfortunately, I didn't have the proper script that I was supposed to. I had the original one that I auditioned for, but did not have the
Right.
actual script that was written. I'm like,
Oh,
yeah, and you're thinking, and you're sitting there, and she basically let Jim. She had to let the director know, like, hey, he doesn't have the original script and stuff, and he was just like, oh, what the heck is this and that? And I'm all thinking, oh my god, thinking not
wow.
my first day film. I'm all sweating, shaking. I'm like, I'm nervous. Like, oh God, like why does every time? And I always notice anytime I've ever been on some, you get on there for the first time, you're ready to go. It's always, I feel like something nerve wracking has to happen. And
Mm,
but it worked out perfect because all he said
yeah.
was, okay, you know what? Give you guys a few minutes, work on the script, and because the thing what I remembered was my instructor. It's like I
Right.
felt like he was talking like he was talking to me. He's like saying,
Yeah.
Ali, remember your lines, your script, the character is you.
That's right.
Every time he kept on the way he kept on describing it. He would always talk about it in class. He would always use that tactic, that knowledge every time. So I always had that in my head. And then wow, and then right there, yeah. As soon as we did the scene, me and her, yeah, the scene was nailed it right through the wall. It was good, and everything turned out good that night.
Now, let me ask you, how do you prepare? Let me say this to our Instagram people
Yeah.
too. Because we have people that's looking on Instagram. If you are on Instagram, you guys can go over and check out the interview that I'm having with Ali Amine by
Mhm.
going over to Facebook. You log into www.streamyard.com/Facebook, and then you can check out TT from the D podcast, or you can go directly to my page if you know me directly. If not, you can go to the podcast and you can go over there, or you can go and follow Ali Amine, and he's actually on his page, so you can see it from there. If you want to see him and hear him, because I know you can hear him, but you can't see him. Okay, I have to do that little PSA. Okay, so let me ask you this. How do you, as an actor, because everyone has their own methods. I know what I do as an actor to get ready for a character. I recently just did a film, and I played a lieutenant. I was Lieutenant Brooks. And so I apply my mindset, criminal justice, going to school, right? And then
Mhm.
watching some of my favorite shows, and it's just in me. But how do you prepare for a role? Like, you were Crane in
Yeah.
the movie here that was shot in the movie written and directed by Jason Clayton,
Yep.
Count Time. And you
Yep.
played Crane, a
Yep.
boxer. How did you prepare for that role?
Well, I remember Jason. I got Jason when he actually. I think it was one time he messaged me. Oh no, actually, there was this website I remembered I logged into and I submitted for a project, and it was actually for a music video that he actually directed. And I don't remember this. I can't remember this. The name of this group that he was. I don't know. I'm trying to forget these artists. What was their name again? I don't remember. But he used me. He used me to play to play as a guy. Basically having like playing like as a guy who would be with the girl, but then these girls they would like leave me and go hanging out with the artists. You know?
Okay, okay.
So it was pretty cool. But that's but Jason saw that he knew I had some MMA background experience, and so I remembered he used me actually for a music video that it would feature me as an MMA fighter, and it would be the soundtrack of this for the film The Count Time. So,
Mm,
hmm
okay.
so
Okay.
so usually, but okay, so and okay, as an actor, how do I usually prepare for these kind of things? I mean,
Yeah.
for me, how I prepare is I'm always making sure. It's like when I look at this character, once I read about this character and I see what's what is their persona, what is what is the agenda, what is it that about, what is it that this character is all about. I try to I try to put like different thoughts into it, thinking like,
Okay.
okay, this is the kind of character you should be. Is this the kind of, is it this kind of way? I try to throw in like a lot of different sorts of ideas just because I
Okay.
want to, when you want to make it look natural, not
Right.
make it look like it's all, just, basically what's that term I'm looking for? Basically also being somebody that you're not as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Basically, like I said, be a natural character. So for me, for me, basically, it's just when I get on that set, I just want to make sure. Listen, and I'm always nervous. Listen, I mean, I don't. And for every actor out there, when you got a lot of them that tends to say they're not nervous when they get on set. Believe me, I think to me that's a fudge of a load of BS, in my opinion.
Okay.
Everybody gets nervous no matter what. It's okay to be nervous. But
It is okay.
on that camera, once you're in front of that camera, once that camera hits, ready, action, there you go. Let it all out. Let the character out. Be
That's
natural.
right. That's
That's
right.
like how I prepare. I get nervous, but once that camera hits me, like that's it. I know the character once I prepare, I know this character what it is. That's it.
Yeah.
It just comes out very natural.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a
What
lot of
have
things to
been
explain about how you prepare for it, because a lot of times, even myself, I don't even have the answer to that one. I just think I just believe my way is just saying like, okay, I'm a lot of times I'm nervous constantly,
right?
but once the minute I'm in front of that camera, boom, it's on. Whether it's
Gotcha.
audition, whether it's filming, whether whatever, even if it's even print shoot or runway, it's like boom, that's it. That's like once the camera's in front of my face, I'm ready to go.
So I wanted you to table the actor's loft. So
Yeah.
when is the last time you were working down at the actor's loft?
Probably about a year ago, maybe. I mean, I've been going
What
for
is
years.
that like?
I've been consistent. What's that?
What is that like? I see a
Oh,
lot of people dealing with that and going and saying really positive things. What's your take on the actor's loft?
see my take even in the industry itself is I feel actors, there's always more and more stuff you could learn.
Absolutely.
No matter how many times, no matter how many times you go, hey, I mean, like I say, I'm not just speaking it from my perspective. Is I'm even speaking from even looking at all the Hollywood actors. You see
Yeah.
that there's a lot of them that still take it. They still take acting classes. They hire acting coaches.
Yeah.
You look at it as, hey, there's always room for an improvement.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how I look at it. And Actors Left has helped out a lot because I always felt like every time, no matter, to starting from early, starting from beginners class to advanced class to, learning also about the audition, learning how to prepare for auditions anytime I go to an agency or prepare for, any kind of, whatever it is, the audition that comes to me.
Hmm.
It's been a definite big experience, especially with improv. Improv. I never even knew what improv was at that time until I started taking classes. I was like, oh, I'm like, what is improv? And then as soon as I started, then when you watch all these films, then you notice like, oh my God, that explains the improv because man, I see guys like Denzel Washington that just all he does is improvs.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
improvs his lines all the time. I feel like this guy, like, I don't feel like he reads his script. I think this guy just says, it's like he just comes off with anything right at the top of his head, and it's like, man, I'm like, hey, he's just so natural at it, and he's so good
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I
know?
think I belong to one of the dopest improv teams back in the day. And
Mm,
we used to go and the producer of this movie we were working on
mm.
called 7 Days on 7 Mile would take us to the comedy club in Royal Oak and have our team just go up against random people.
Yeah, I know
And
that he'll do that.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. And it's so much fun because it's like this. Iron sharpens iron, right? And you
Mhm.
always want to sharpen your craft. You can
Absolutely.
never know enough, and you
Nope.
can always have room to grow, advance, learn
Yep.
different techniques. Like I said earlier when I was talking about the Meisner technique, a good friend of mine, Kat, introduced me to that many, many years ago. So there's always these different methods,
Yeah.
and you never know. It's almost like having a bag of tricks or having a toolbox. You never
Yeah.
know what tool you'll need to use for what project. And so being versatile helps you, I believe. Like I've seen you be in serious roles. The box are totally different. Like what?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was different for me to see you do that.
Yeah. As
But
you said,
I
very.
had a question. What was that? There was ah. So, do you feel that because you have a different look,
Hmm.
you could pass for a lot of different ethnic groups?
Yeah.
Do you feel though that you've gotten typecasted, or do you feel like you've been safe where you're like, nope, I go in and I can read for different things and they don't try to put me in a box?
Uh, I mean, I felt that before typecasted. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, I used to get a lot of times I would get casted, like you say, when you were talking about, well, like getting casted for like Italians, A lot of times that's the kind of roles I do get casted for, is mostly Italian, like a gay, like always to play gang mafia type,
Yeah.
or even,
Okay.
or most of the time, even police officers. Like I get a
Okay.
lot of police officer role. Lately, I've
I
been getting
saw
a lot of,
that. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, okay, you look like a cop.
yeah, it would be
Yeah.
fine, but you're right. Yeah,
Yeah.
something like I say, typecasted. We could say it can come into play, but with me, I like trying something different because I like a challenge.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
there's like there is a film I remembered I did this past year, and I don't know if I don't I think you know this director. Well, the director, actually the writer, her name was Sarah, but the guy who did the camera, who also directed it, was I don't know if you're aware of him. His name is Darren Brown.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Darren Brown. So
Yeah.
I had a film I did last year, and wow, this is the first time I actually got to do something completely different.
Okay.
So I got to play a little bit. It's kind of like it was kind of like more like kind of like a comedy a bit.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and I liked that. Even though I was a Middle Eastern guy, but it was just such a total different character of me. And I said, oh my god, like I like this character.
Nice.
It's not something I would do in real life, but hey,
Right.
but when I was on that, just like when I did this film with Shantae,
Delone.
yep, Delone, she
Mm-hmm.
she casted me, she casted me in that film. I'm sure you've probably seen it. It's on if you check out Tubi, it's
Mm-hmm.
called Booked.
Yep. Yep.
It's on Tubi. That was a different kind of character. I like playing bad guy role, but that was a different bad guy kind of role.
Yeah. She's
And
dope. Shantae is dope. I've
oh,
had the
she
pleasure of working with her. She's a
oh,
triple threat,
big time.
amazing,
Big,
amazing writer, director, and actress. I knew
yeah.
her before I knew she was a director writer. I
Mhm.
had the pleasure of working with her on a couple of stage plays. She's amazing. I haven't worked with Darren Brown, but I've been in a room with him, and he's phenomenal. I look forward to the
Yeah,
day that I can work with
I
him.
tell you, there's more Michigan in Michigan. There's more. There's a lot of great talents in Michigan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
it really is. It just really, but it just really, it's really sad that we just can't seem to get the incentives going around here. And we
They're
should, like
trying.
what we
They're
had.
trying to get them
Oh,
back.
I
They're trying.
know. It
They're
was
trying.
like the way we used to have it many years ago. Can you imagine if we had it now? I'm telling you, I feel like Michigan actors. I feel like they don't get treated right. They don't get treated properly, and I feel like
Yeah.
they're very underestimated. But people don't realize, like, wow, that's why when you got all these directors, that's why when you got directors like Adair, like Harley, like Dennis Reed, when you have
Dennis
these
Reed,
guys
super dope.
that are, oh my God, Dennis Reed, let me tell you something. That is one of the most hardworking directors I've ever worked with. That man is
Nice.
like he's got hunger inside of him. Like that man is it's like people say women are gold diggers. Nah, this dude is a movie digger. He's a movie.
I like that. I
He's
like
a
that.
he's a chaser. He's like he never slows down. He's always got something new coming up every single time. And I'm looking forward to this weekend too, going to his audition.
Yeah. Wow.
He's
Super dope.
oh
So let
yeah.
me ask you as we wind down,
Yeah.
what are you currently working on? I know you just say you're getting ready to go to an audition this weekend.
Well, right now, there is a film I am working on. Actually, this month, actually, one of my friends had messaged me, and this one. I guess this production team is from L.A. and
Okay.
I guess then they casted me as a police officer.
Okay.
Cool, but the coolest thing about it is I'm actually going to have a female police officer with me in this one.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So
That's
right now that's something I'm working on. Yeah, it's always day by day. I always got new stuff coming up every time. It's like you just never know. That's the way. That's the one thing I love about this industry. I'm always active. You just never know what's gonna be coming up. And I see how you I see how you mentioned about the Crow, which
mm-hmm.
yeah. Well, yeah, Justin. The main actor who put this film together, yeah, his name is Justin Main. He made this film happen. I mean, this is
Nice.
something like he had imagined since he was a kid. And when he saw that film, the actual film that you posted, The Crow, when he saw it with Brandon Lee, he had this vision in his head, like, man, one day I actually want to hope someday maybe to star in the film Crow, or maybe to make a film. And wow, it's like now that
Wow.
God look at it, he made it happen.
Yeah.
That was a
It
fun one.
just reminds you, it just reminds you that if we chase our goals
Hmm.
and we just believe in ourselves, it's we tend to want people to support us, and there's nothing wrong with that. We want the
Yeah,
support. Everybody needs some support and a good support team.
yeah,
But your biggest cheerleader, supporter is going to be you, yourself, and yourself,
always.
right?
Oh, oh wow.
Always. And we don't, a lot of times we'll pack it up and go because we're waiting on that like, like when you make a post.
Yeah.
Like I've been watching your posts. They're very inspirational. You've been saying a lot of stuff. I was like, Ali dropping a lot of gems out here in these streets. I was like, I'm loving what I'm reading. It's very motivational, very positive. And I'm like, even if people
I'll
don't
be.
hit like or share,
Yeah,
it's something that you're going to take and you're going to pause and
yeah,
you're
yeah.
going to say, you know what, that made a lot of sense. And
You know,
hopefully they'll do something
because
with it.
I learned from other people. This is not just
Yeah.
it's like, no, I learned this also from other people. When you look at all these motivational speakers, all these people that are doing great stuff on the outside world, these are the kind of people, like I say, that inspire me,
Yeah.
that make me want to, go after a dream and keep chasing it. And the one thing is what I learned even in this industry is the one thing is don't settle. No matter It's like no matter how much work you do, never settle for less. Never keep settling. Never keep settling down. Never feel like, oh, because you feel like you made it, oh, that's it, like quit. That's a lot of people how they feel in life, because they think the minute they think they feel like they reached their goal, but then not realizing there's more goals to reach.
That's right.
Because there's
I
always
agree.
goals to reach no matter what. Even
I
if you
agree.
think you've reached it, no, keep reaching for more, keep climbing, keep going all the way until the day you could never do it ever again.
I agree. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I want to thank you for taking time out of your night to give me this hour for people to get to know you. But not only that, I don't think I realized, you may not even realize that you were going to come on and be so motivational and encouraging to
Mhm.
people, not to the listener, that actor, that model, or that writer, that director that is sitting. And I think the message that I gather is that you can always grow, but you
Yeah.
got to keep on working. Don't give up, keep going. And just when you're about to give up, this has been a lot of people's story in the
Mhm.
last couple of months that I've learned. And I'm hoping a couple of folks that people I believe will really, really sit back and listen to will come on and share their story. But it was just when they were about to quit
Mhm.
that they got that call. And I always tell people, all you need is that one yes
Yeah.
to change your life.
Yep.
One yes. It
In
can be
the
50
end.
no's, but that
Yep.
one yes can
Mhm.
change your
In the end, in the end, hey, we're human beings in the end.
life.
Don't let this whole fame, all this celebrity thing, even though with that word to me, celebrity, I feel like that's a word. I feel like that nowadays, I feel like it's driving people in the wrong direction. I don't feel like that word is encouraging anymore. I feel like people gets to that spot, but then they forget who they are, and then they
Mm,
then they it's like I say, they don't feel like they don't have that motivation, they don't have that hunger inside of them anymore. That's why in the end
yeah.
you feel like, yeah, in the end, hey, I am who I am. I'm human. I'm still a human being, not better than
Yeah.
anybody else. Be humble and just don't act like just don't think of yourself you're bigger than anybody else, because you're not. Because nobody
There you,
is.
there you go. I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I thank you very much for all of you that have enjoyed this interview, this one-on-one with Ali. You guys should follow him on social media. On IG, it is Ali Amine 80, right?
Correct.
Okay. And it's the number 80, not spelled out 80. And then also on Facebook is just Ali Amine, right?
Yep. And they could check
Okay.
out my TV if they ever want to watch films.
Yeah, you have a lot of films up there. I was looking at your page. I was like, dang, you had about 12. It looked like it was about 12 films up there.
Oh, way more than that. Oh no,
Oh, see,
I
okay. I was just perusing. I was like,
almost
oh, okay.
no, I got about close to I know I got about close to over 40 films.
Shut the front door.
Yep, yep,
Okay, come on
yeah.
now. I'm
No,
gonna
it's all
say I had that
right.
one-on-one with
I'm
Ali.
still working. I'm still a working actor. I'm still trying to grow. You know,
Yeah,
some hope my name become someday my name could hit box can become a box office name.
it
That's the
will.
IMDb is now. Yeah, you can man, people can look you up and you're knowing that your name is in those. You know, you're in that list of all these Hollywood actors. That's
Yeah.
what I love That's what I love about IMDb.
Yep, I gotta update my IMDb because I
Mhm.
started it, then I locked myself out years
Yeah,
ago, and tried to get back in, and it was just like, then you're trying to. That's why it's so important. Here's another little tip too. It's important when we do projects to
yeah,
write it down, put it on your resume, whatever, because you forget, especially when you're a
yeah. That's
working actor or writer or whatever.
true.
You forget, and you're like, oh, I know I did this
But
one thing.
IMDb comes in
So
handy.
yeah,
That's why
yeah,
IMDb and it makes you it reminds you like, oh, okay, I got this.
yeah, yeah.
Yep,
All right. Well,
yep.
thank you so much, Ali. I appreciate you.
Thank you for
I hope
having.
that of course, and I hope that you'll come back. I want to tap in with you after
Me.
you wrap up this film you're working on and see what we do. I'll be shutting down season 2 very shortly, but I'll
Sounds
be doing season 3 in 2023. And
all right.
then by that time, you should be able to wrap this film up, hopefully, and on
Yo,
to the next 2 or 3. And I'll
yeah,
have you come back. So
sounds good.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your night.
You too. Take care of yourself. Thank you again.
I will. Thank you.
Bye bye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you have heard that directly from Ali. I mean, he was my guest for the evening. I'm super excited. For those of you that didn't get the opportunity to join us over there in Facebook, you're probably might like, why are you looking down, TT? Well, because I have my IG live going as well. And I know we're streaming over on Twitter and YouTube and all those great things. But I want to play some more music for y'all as we close out the show tonight. Y'all know Beth just dropped Get to Know Me, her new project. Her sophomore album is doing amazing. It's up for Grammy nominations, right? So you guys definitely got to check that out. And then, as I told y'all earlier, Evra Cassimy album listening party is this coming Saturday at Imagine Royal Oak. It's going to be phenomenal. So I'm getting ready to play a song from Beth's new project. There's every song is a banger. I know I'm beat y'all up with God Next. It's still one of my favorites. I don't care what y'all talking about, but I love this song right here, and I know y'all should be familiar with it. Let Me Be. If we can get it going, y'all know how technology be. Not this one, because that's Bad Girl. We'll let y'all hear Bad Girl, whatever. I'll give you a smidget. Then I'm going on to Let Me Be. Okay. Hey. So this is Beth. This is from her new project, Get to Know Me. Usually. You do. Hey. Woo, I love that song. Okay, here my other favorite one. It's my jam, y'all. Oh, it's my jam, y'all. Oh, this is my mess. Hey, hey, I'm working on my cousin. Hey, hey. Hey, come on, Beth. Hey, hey. Woo! I could jam with y'all all night. I think I'm going to have a listening session all by myself. But I got to shout out and put out, that was Beth's new project, Get to Know Me. If you don't have that project, please, it's streaming on all social media platforms. Just go and cop it. You could go to her website. You actually could see her perform this Saturday. She is actually performing with Evrod at his album listening party. So if you are in the D, stop at Imagine Royal Oak. Now, you had to have RSVP by now. Some of y'all didn't do that because y'all don't always do what you're supposed to. Wait till the 19th hour. I can't tell you there's going to be any seats ready left for y'all. I don't know. But what I will tell you, it's going to be a phenomenal concert. And there will be a special guest as well. But I'm getting ready to play. This is one of my songs that I feel that Evrod really, really honed in on. And you could apply this perhaps. Who is that? Hey, B-Rod, what's up, fam? I don't know if he's still there. I don't know. He's probably gone. But hey, bro. Yeah, so excuse me, if you ever felt underappreciated, right, in your personal life, your professional life, a lot of times we go through things. My amazing guest I just had on, Ali Amine, it was a phenomenal interview. I hope that you will go back if you just got in. If you just logged on now, I hope that you will go back to the top of the hour and listen to the interview that I had with Ali Amine. It was phenomenal, and I'm going to tell you why. He was super transparent. I wasn't ready for it, and I'm one of those type of podcasters that I could have my questions written or in my brain, but when I see something shifting in the atmosphere, I allow it to manifest. I don't stop it. I believe there's that one. Oh, and I got chills. Okay, I believe that there's that one person that needed to hear what Ali had to say tonight. It could be several of y'all, but I'm for sure certain one person tonight needed to be reminded, encouraged, and motivated to get back in the game. Whatever that looks like. Now, I'm not talking about the dirty game. Now, I ain't telling you to do that. If you walked away from that life, stay out of it because ain't nothing good from that. But I'm talking about your gifts, writing, producing, directing, acting, modeling, whatever that is, being an entrepreneur. You need to remember it's your dream. It's your right. You don't let anybody steal your dream. You don't let anybody steal your dream. You don't let anybody tell you you can't do what you know you've been gifted to do. You can't let anybody do that. And for all those people, and it hurt my heart to hear Ali say that he had to go and be alone, and not that part. That didn't hurt my heart. When he says, well, if I don't talk to you anymore, that's fine too. How do you supposed to love a family member, a friend, and they're chasing their dreams, and you're like, well, if you do that, I'm not going to talk to you, or I'm not supporting you, or whatever. Why do we do that? That's rhetorical. Nobody try to answer that, okay? That's a whole nother thing. But why do we do that? We're not supposed to tear down people. We're supposed to build one another up. Why we build ourselves up. But for some reason, some of y'all are shady. Now, if you offended and you rolling your neck and rolling your eyes, you get ready to log off, then I must be talking to you, and that's okay with me. Goodbye. Because we don't need your energy anyway in the atmosphere. We have a lot of negativity already festering and manifesting in the world. We don't need that. We need to encourage one another. That's why I love my platform, because it gives people like Ali the opportunity to come on and share their testimony, their truth. Things that you and I may not feel comfortable saying, being vulnerable. So salute to my guest, Ali Amine. Amazing. Follow him on social media. On IG, he's Ali Amine 80. And on Facebook, he's Ali Amine. Okay, so I'm getting ready to play this song by Evrod Cassimy. You can get it from his new project, The Life of James. And it's called Underappreciated.
I'm feeling underappreciated. I'm feeling steady using my whole name for clout. I'm feeling underappreciated. Need you to understand how pissed off I really am. How dare you talk to me like that? I'm a grown-ass man. I work hard just like everyone else. Yet I stay humble, if I do say so myself. Yeah, I'm snitching on them. This song sneak dissing on them. You're no straight pissing on them. Cause I'm tired. Time they step into the ring, I've done the same thing. I'll be fired. I'm feeling underappreciated. I'm feeling underappreciated. You think I ain't got nothing to be mad about, but you be steady using my whole name for clout. I'm feeling underappreciated. Such a double standard, the things they do. Running around and bossing everybody around cause of you. Mind your manners, please, before I get an attitude. And at that point, who gon' check me? Yeah, I'm snitching on them. This song sneak dissing on them. You're no straight pissing on them. Cause I'm tired. Now they step into the ring, cause if I've done the same thing, what you think? I'll be fired. Giving them the flowers, time I got mine too. Walk around nose in the air, all because of you. I can't take it no more, so I gotta let you know. I deserve my respect. Baby, cut my check. Saying it again, in case you wasn't listening. Deserve some respect. Baby, cut my check. I ain't finished yet. Listen to what the song says. I'm feeling underappreciated. I'm feeling underappreciated. You think I ain't got nothing to be mad about, but you be steady using my whole name for clout. I'm feeling underappreciated.
That was Underappreciated by F.I. Kathy.
Give me my respect.
And we're going to do this last one called Amen.
They say you can't do both. You be up on TV, then singing them songs you wrote. Boy, you better pick one thing, cause we ain't trying to hear you sing. I ain't never hurt nobody, yeah. But time and time again, they try me, yeah. If that makes me a bad person, well, maybe you're the one who's hurting. Why you gotta hurt me so good? I will not be misunderstood. I won't let you break me again, cause I'm stronger now. Let the church say amen. Sometimes they try to break you down. They see you loving life, well, this is upside down. Listen to me, sometimes it works, but them's the times. I gotta put me first. I ain't never hurt nobody, yeah. I am who I am. They can't take that away from me. Look to the one who made you who you are. You're a star, and you're gonna go far. Why you gotta hurt me so good? Amen. Stronger now. Let the church say amen. Why you gotta hurt me so good? Why you? I will not be misunderstood. No. I won't let you break me. Break me again. 'Cause I'm stronger now. Let the church say amen. Why you gotta hurt me so good? Amen. I will not be misunderstood. I won't let you break me. Break me again. 'Cause I'm stronger now. Let the church say amen. 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 I think that'll work.
So, okay. This is my closeout song. I know y'all said you said it 2 songs ago. Okay, I told y'all it's my show. And I want to give y'all good music. So we're going in between Beth, her new project, Get to Know Me, Evrod Cassimy, new project, The Life of James. So you heard so far Bad Girl by Beth, Let Me Be by Beth. You heard Underappreciated by Evrod Cassimy. You've heard Amen by Evrod Cassimy. Both artists are performing this coming Saturday at Evrod Cassimy's album release party, which is also his farewell party. It's his last day here in the D. He is relocating to Chicago. So it's a bittersweet moment. And I'm super excited because I get to be the stage manager, service stage manager this weekend. And Beth will be performing. I love working with both of them. And so we're going to end this song. It's fitting to go along with what my guest, Ali Amine, just shared his story on how he got into the business, the wheeze and the woes of the business, how we can have down moments and have up moments, how sometimes this business we're in, we find ourselves alone. We have to go back and reflect over things and people. And then when we get ourselves strong enough and we can get back into the game, we have to be mindful and remember who held us down when we were down, right? We're not holding grudges. We're moving on. So if you are getting back in the game, if you just got back in the game and you believe you got next, then you will believe in this song. This is Got Next by Beth, featuring my husband, Swifty McVeigh from D12. I think. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Got Next by Beth featuring Swifty McVeigh from D12. It's your girl TT from the D, and I am getting ready to sign out for tonight. Got to get ready to prep for tomorrow. For those of you that know, I am on a mission. I am starting, or I started today, was the very first day. This is for all my married people, right? No matter where you are in the world, across the globe, you can catch TT from the D doing the 30-day marriage challenge for 30 days straight. You will hear a scripture as well as whatever it is that we need to talk about every morning, either on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. I'm happy to say that I am now on iHeartRadio. Can y'all believe TT from the D? And I couldn't have done it without y'all, without my supporters, my listeners, wherever you are in the world. I thank you. I salute you. You can also catch us. I just realized last week I'm also on Amazon Music. What? Super excited. So it's my pleasure to use my platform however God sees fit. It's not just about the way of the world, but for the married couples, because I'm a married person. I know the marriage can be tough for a lot of folks. It takes work. It takes work. It's easy, I feel, because when you love someone and you're dedicated to somebody and you love yourself, let's be clear, you gotta love yourself. How can I love my husband but not love me? How can my husband love me and not love himself? Right? You got to have that self-love. That helps everything else manifest and work out to your good. So if you want to rise and shine for the next 29 days, right, then you could catch it. The show will air by 8 o'clock, not before 7, but I try to get it about 7:30, right before 8 o'clock, so that you can check it out as you drive into work, in from work, get the kids off to school. But the beautiful thing about podcasting is that the show was there. You can go back and listen to it. Today's topic, we talked about sacred marriage, a marriage that's sacred. What does that look like? I can't wait to see what's aligned. There's no rhyme and reason to it. It's not already written and prepared. It's given to me day by day. So I just got to pray and tarry on it and ask God, what is it that you want me to share with my sisters and brothers that are in a covenant, in a marriage? And that's what you'll get from me every morning. But also, we're going to talk tomorrow. I'm going to be interviewing Swifty McVeigh, who happens to be my husband. We're going to be talking about voting. Okay, we're in a serious moment, y'all, a serious season. If you are in Michigan, if you're a Michigander, we're going to be talking about that thing tomorrow on Anchor.fm, Spotify, all that at 8 o'clock, my Wind Down Wednesday. Chill, relax, but I want you to be informed. I'm partnering up with some amazing people, but the PSA is going to be brought to you by Michigan Nonprofit Association. They are making sure that you are equipped, that you are educated, and you have the necessary knowledge to make sure that you get out and vote, whatever that looks like, whether it's out at the polls on November 8th, or if you've done it online, or if you are doing it with the absentee ballot. So right now, this week, we're going to be talking about what if you don't have your ID? What if you made a mistake? We're going to talk about all of that. And we'll probably run you back through what it looks like to make sure you're ready to vote at those polls. On that note, it's your girl TT from DD, and I am super excited, and I am out. I'll see you guys next week for Tap In Tuesday.